What's up guys, my name's Dan and welcome to The Vault. Today I'll be reviewing the sword and sorcery epic King Arthur Legend of the Sword, starring Charlie Hunnam, Jude Law, Digimon Honzu and directed by Guy Ritchie. I say Digimon because I can't actually pronounce the guy's first name and I know that is really bad of me. Anyway, King Arthur tells the story of a young underdog boy who must take the throne from his evil uncle and claim his birthright. Pretty standard stuff for a fantasy film. The film opens with an ominous and foreboding silence, but then quickly showcases the type of supernatural elements that it has to offer. We even get a look within the first 20 minutes at the set pieces and most of the sets used, which are impressive enough, making one believe they are in a fantasy medieval England. The costumes add to this, the armour of the Blacklegs looking sharp and sleek. Guy Ritchie is just really good at creating these formidable looking characters. He has also always been great at moving the pace of his films along in a quick fashion. There are a few snappy montages that do really well in moving the film along. One in particular which shows a young Arthur growing into adulthood and learning to fight and survive on the streets of Londinium. He does this in many of his films and it works. He also adds some of his own little touches, like having Arthur grow up in a brothel. It's tiny changes like that that make the film unique from the rest. Guy Ritchie also knows how to cast his films perfectly. There's a varied cast with a few well-known faces. Charlie Hunnam, who I don't really rate much as an actor, brings a cheeky, boyish charm to the character of Arthur. It's a nice change from other actors who have played him. His accent is still terrible though, even worse than in Green Street. Aidan Gillen is essentially playing Littlefinger as he always does, although he doesn't sound super Irish in this. Jude Law is really great as the sinister Vortigern who is just trying to keep a hold on his throne and title, truly menacing. The character developments are also rather interesting. You have the title character who is plagued by a past that he doesn't quite understand, and then this burden of having a royal bloodline that he wasn't even aware of. Then there is Vortigern, who is probably my favourite character. He was willing to sacrifice his loved ones all in the name of power and keeping the power he had. These are really basic character tropes, but they were pulled off really well. The action sequences were just generally exciting and a pleasure to watch. My particular favourite being an escape through the streets of Londinium, which culminated in an all-out courtyard fight. The sorcery and fantasy elements added to this, whether it was a mage using a flock of birds as a weapon or Excalibur being used to sow confusion and destruction among the Blacklegs. The main strengths of this film are its soundtrack and the fantasy elements woven into it. The fantasy helped the film from stopping completely and becoming boring. It just gave the film something that the previous Clive Owen adaptation never had. As for the soundtrack, it's beautiful. The use of violins and bagpipes really helped towards the tone and texture of the film. My criticisms with this film are the glaring plot holes and some of the subplot threads that are completely dropped without any kind of resolution for them. The script also lacks any punch, along with the story, which really lacks any kind of oomph. Saying that, however, this film is still a roaring fantasy adventure. Credit to Guy Ritchie for making the transition from gangster flick to fantasy epic so smoothly. The lesson I learned from this film was that you should be careful who you piss off, because 9 times out of 10 we create our own enemies through our selfish and power-hungry actions. That, and any guy who chooses black as his colour scheme, is probably batshit crazy. But there we are. As always though, let's see if King Arthur, Legend of the Sword belongs in the vault. What's up party people? We're again here back at the blackboard to see if King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, belongs in the vault. Question number 1, let's jump right into it. Question number 1, was this film entertaining? Was I bored at any point? I quite enjoyed this film. I thought it was a rather entertaining film. Guy Ritchie, as I've already said, has really made the transition from gangster flicks to fantasy films really quite smoothly, and he adds his own little touches into this which make it quite enjoyable. So for that, I'm going to give it a tick. Question number 2. How was the direction, music, etc.? Did it make the viewing experience any better? The music, as I've said, was absolutely beautiful. It really set the tone of the film. It really made you believe you were in some kind of fantasy England where sorcery and magic could exist. The action scenes were pretty great too. Guy Ritchie again has always had a knack for making these really interesting, different action scenes, as we've seen in films like Sherlock Holmes and films like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. He's just quite a different and quite a unique director in that sense. So for that, I'm going to give it a tick. Question number 3. Did the film elicit an emotional response that I empathised with the characters? I'd have to say no, I didn't really empathise with any of the characters. It's quite a bog standard storyline, young underdog hero rising up to face off against the evil king and take back the throne. There wasn't really any kind of like emotional response for me, so for that I'm going to give it a cross. Question number 4, would I pay to watch this film? Yeah, I would definitely pay to watch this film. It's just very entertaining. The sorcery and fantasy elements in it help it to be that much better. And from what I've heard and from what I've read, Guy Ritchie is planning on making this a whole universe, introducing characters like the Guinevere and Merlin and Lancelot and all those other familiar names in the King Arthur universe. So I'm hoping that he gets a chance to do that, because I was quite a fan of his Sherlock Holmes films, and I found those quite interesting. So I would pay to watch this film. So for that, I'm going to give it a tick. Question number 5. Would I suggest this film to my friends and you lovely subscribers? Now this film, it got bashed by critics. I'm not entirely sure why, because it is a rather enjoyable film. So I would say to you, do not listen to the critics. If you've seen everything else that is out at the moment, or you're not really sure what to watch, definitely go give King Arthur a watch, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how good it is and how enjoyable it is. So I would definitely suggest this film to my friends. Members of my family, my mum again would love a film like this.
Mama McCann!
She would definitely love a film like this. So I would definitely suggest it to you lovely subscribers. If you haven't seen it already, go give it a chance. When it comes to films like this, it's all well and good listening to critics to try and save the money, because obviously film tickets are quite expensive these days. But go and give this film a chance, make your own judgments and assumptions on it, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So I would definitely suggest this to you guys to go and watch it, and I think you'll enjoy it. So for that, I'm going to give it a tick. So we have it. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, will be going into the vault. And again, as always guys, if you like what I do here, you like what you see,
good,
then please like and subscribe down below. And as always, if you want to comment, and if you've already seen the film, what you thought of it, if you agree or disagree with my review of the film, then please let me know. And as always guys, until the next video, I'm about to slap the shit out of my cameraman. Peace and love, my dudes.
Bitch, please.
Come on, go away. Me. I can hear someone coming, and it's really annoying. Sorry this is taking so long. You're gonna have to edit this out properly, cause I can hear them walking past, and they're making lots of noise. And I really would like to start right now, but I can't, cause they're making noise. You can hear it, but I can hear the noise they're making. Okay, what's that?